All right, everybody, we're going to talk women's basketball and Sparks basketball. Today with us is the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Sparks, Danita Johnson. Danita, thank you very much for being here. Stephanie Stone, who is with the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs, and Jim Zinner over on the end, who's with the LA County Department of Mental Health. But first of all, Danita, let's talk a little bit about your club. When it first came into existence, the Sparks were it.
Yeah.
But now you've hit a little dip like all athletic teams do. Now you're trying to bounce back, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a little bit on the court. We've had a lot of injuries this year, but I think we are making our way back, and we're super excited about it. Hopefully this second half of the year, some of our key players will be returning off of injury, which will be great for us. Definitely has affected us a little bit on the court, but we're still going strong. I think moments like this are what make teams. You know, we have a great combination of veteran players and lots of young players, so it's like the young players having the opportunity to get this much play time in this early in the season, I think is going to be great for us in the long run. So, hey, sometimes when it seems bad, it's not always so bad. And from a business side, we're doing amazing, leading the league in attendance. So, huge strides for us going into the season.
That is amazing when you say you lead the league in attendance, especially when you consider we are in the sports capital of the world.
Absolutely.
What are the Sparks doing to kind of carve out your own niche, because we have all these other great professional teams here that are demanding so much attention?
Yeah, I think it's staying true to who we are. You know, at the beginning of the day, we're a basketball team, but at the same time, we're a team that serves our community. And so for us, it's not only about basketball on the court, but how do we, in this great mecca of sports of LA, how do we find ways to also enhance our community? And for us being the only women's team in the state of California, first thing we do is think, how do we help other women in the community? And so most recently, as of last year, we started our mental health awareness game last year, and it has developed into, and blossomed, I would say, into this amazing partnership with the Department of Mental Health and the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs that really focuses on overall well-being, both from a mental health capacity, physically as well, and for female veterans here throughout LA.
And of course, you'll be really happy when Candace Parker is at full stream, full health,
Yes.
and ready to roll, because, you know, as she goes, so go the Sparks.
Yeah, nothing like having Candace Parker back on the court. We're excited to see her return.
You mentioned something that's very important, and that is getting involved in the community.
Yes.
And that's very important. And I would imagine that's where we lead in, and when we talk to Stephanie and to Jim. Stephanie, I'd like for you to talk just a little bit about your association, your affiliation with the Sparks, and how you two came together, and what do you want to accomplish?
Well, originally it was last year as part of the Mental Health Awareness Day. I was invited to come out and speak to represent women veterans and the issues that we have as a community. We've been running a LA County Women Veterans Project and program since 2014, and it's been very successful as we would define it, which is really reaching only a very small percentage of our community. So we were excited when last year Danita and the gang came to Bob Hope Patriotic Hall, our headquarters, and asked to partner with us to try to reach more women veterans in the community through greater awareness and projects that would bring us to the home games as well as out into the community.
How surprised are you at the success you're having?
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's very surprising, largely because it's a difficult community to reach. As I said, we've been running our program since 2014. We know what our challenges are, both on a local level as well as on a national level. So Los Angeles is not only a sports mecca, but we have the largest population of veterans in our community and one of the largest populations of women veterans in our community. And yet we know we only reach less than 10% of those women. And so when we are able to bring bus loads over to the home games, and they're excited, and they're not only excited to be there at that game, but looking forward to be a part of the next game. Not only are we creating a new awareness around women's basketball, but we're creating a new community, because a lot of women, when we come out of the military and we change out of our uniform, we tend to isolate ourselves, and we lose that identity that we had when we were in uniform. Now we're part of a larger community, the community of Los Angeles, the Sparks community, and the community of Spark the True You.
And Jim, as far as the mental health issue is concerned, there's a lot of people that really don't know exactly what they can do in order to help, right?
Yeah, that's one of the issues, is where do I get help? Something's going on, I don't know what it is, life's kind of unraveling. Who do I reach out to? Where can I get help? What's help going to be like? is it me just being weak? And so really events like this and the partnership with the Sparks allows us to enter into another access platform, a group, an audience that we wouldn't typically reach, and to be able to reach out and say, this is how you get help. This is where you can go. This is how you get a hold of us. I think that's a huge benefit to our partnership and really pays dividends for a population that's really hard to reach, like Stephanie was mentioning.
Speaking of reaching, who reached out to who? How did this friendship relationship get started?
It actually happened with our staff members. We had 2 of our staff members, Patrick and Daniel, initiated our first mental health night last year. And so it started with them wanting to kind of put this place together. And one of the things we try to do within our organization is like, let's try new things. Let's find things that are topics that are a part of our community, and how do we help use our platform to engage in those. And they put together, and I remember it was the first time they did it, they did like a yoga segment before the game, and really that was like the initiation of this whole entire project. It was one simple act that led to a bigger act, and I think that's the beauty of the partnership.
It's almost like that could be the motto for this particular relationship. One single act can lead to another.
Absolutely. I love the fact that one of the things that was brought to us was they want to become the tip of the spear, and I say they being the Sparks. There have been other professional sports teams that have recognized veterans in the moment. It'll be a veteran of the game, or will have a mental health awareness. But the Sparks are really taking it a step further, which is to say it's a year-long process of recognizing the challenges that women veterans have, bringing together a community of resources and the community as a whole to be able to help create another community for our women veterans. And so not only are we doing it here in Los Angeles, but from my understanding, it's the Sparks' intention to be the tip of the spear, to challenge the WNBA to go further. So yes, it starts with an introduction, it becomes an attendance at a game, then it becomes an attendance in the community, then it becomes a larger community process. And women recognize, and women veterans recognize that just because I come out of my uniform doesn't mean I've lost my identity. In fact, I have a new family, if you will.
And Jim, from a mental health standpoint, this can really help to re-energize your particular department as well, because when you know the Sparks are there, and it makes you feel a lot better about what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the military coming out, athletics and staying active is something that's natural to us, and we think, getting a lot of veterans together, and particularly women veterans, they start talking amongst each other, and to they help make it okay to get help. They realize that they're not alone, and there's a lot of that going on as we're getting more and more women veterans together.
Do you have to sometimes convince these individuals of the opportunity that they have? Because a lot of times when you offer help to someone, they just kind of shy away from it because they may think you have some ulterior motives yourself.
Yeah, that's correct. So we're very persistent about the outreach and engaging. If somebody says no, we don't always take it as a no and leave it at that. We'll continue to reach out and having venues that we can continue to socialize and meet and encourage people to get help. That's helpful, and that's why our partnership with Military Veteran Affairs is really important, because sometimes people reach out for benefits because they're hurting economically, but it's because of a mental health issue that they're not able to function at work and things like that. So we really work together to, if somebody comes in for benefits, work with them to see if there's a mental health issue, and if there is, refer them over to us, and that's where we can start the follow-up, the persistent follow-up. No doesn't always mean no forever.
Stephanie, where do you get your energy from? Where do you get your drive, your dedication to this program from?
So I spent 20 years in the military as a Navy hospital corpsman. It was an opportunity for me to serve my community of the military members. I think that I get that. I feel like this is just yet another opportunity to serve, to be a servant leader, if you will, for my community, but also working with these two individuals. I love what you were just saying about not taking no and recognizing sometimes it's, as a veteran, we feel like we're warriors. We can do anything. It doesn't matter what's coming at us. But in fact, we do need the help of our shipmates or our fellow soldiers, airmen or Marines, and it's coming out to the games. I don't know if you've ever been to a Sparks games, but boy, I was not aware of how much energy happens out there on and off the court. So being a part of that experience, you get excited and you want to come back to be a part of that. And then as a veteran, again, we feel like we owe it to ourselves to reach back and help the next vet up.
I had too. You know, I think this is one of those things where when you see all three organizations up here represented, we know that in this space we can't do this alone.
Yeah.
We couldn't go and do this campaign without these other two sitting next to us, right? And so it's that kind of community that we've created from the top to then be able to offer services throughout the community. And I think one of the beauties of this program is that we're doing 12 different events throughout the year. We've done a few already. Our next event is coming up on the 30th. So we'll have another event. And all these events are events for women and their families to actually come and get access to services. Each of them have different topics. The one we just did this past week really talked about overall well-being, nutrition. We had our trainer come in and actually do some of the segments. And so it's like we're creating these atmospheres that, okay, let's say we start with a small group. Every single time we do an event and we create a safe haven of an environment, the more opportunity to bring more women in. And I think that's together of what this campaign is about. When we say spark the true you, maybe it didn't spark on the first one. Maybe it takes a second or third opportunity to really get engaged. But every single time that we engage and we do these different activities in the community, we have the opportunity to spark the true you with inside of these female veterans. And that's our overall goal. It's about them. We're just using our platforms to give them access.
And speaking of them, your players love this idea, this program. don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. They've been so supportive, and I mean, as female athletes, there's a lot of similarities between what they go through and many of the female veterans as well, and I'll let Stephanie definitely speak to that, but we're doing something that's more than just basketball. It's bigger than basketball. We get to actually help impact and change lives beyond the court, and so that's what we believe in, and I think, you know, you hear so much in the news today about how people use their platforms and how do you create these environments of change. Well, this is our effort in helping to create an environment through change through our platform.
You know, one of my favorite sayings, and I've said it, you know, many times before, is by Dr. King, when he said, giving back to your fellow mankind is one of the most noble things that anyone can do. And that's exactly what the three of you are doing right now, giving back to your fellow mankind. I'd like for you to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to be here myself and be part of this partnership because I served in the military for 4 years, active duty, and getting out, it was a decision between law enforcement and helping people, and really helping people is what drew me into this field, and really going through some hard times myself, and now being able to turn around and help other veterans get opportunities to really advance their life and make it out the other end as they transition out of service. It's extremely exciting, and to have a powerful platform where there's so much positive energy, it really helps open people up because you just want to feel normal.
Yeah.
I'd like for you to talk about that same thing, Stephanie, because you know, you're giving back to mankind or ladykind, or giving back to all of us, really.
Thank you. I think it's because somebody else did it for us. Somebody else did it for me. They reached back and said, this is the way you're going to transition out of the military. This is the way you can transition into LA County Department of Military and Veteran Affairs. You can do this as well. This is how we do these things. And they put the steps out there for you, or at least showed you where they were at. And now we have an opportunity to do it for the next generation. And I always challenge those that come into the program to say, now you know where these steps are. Now you have that responsibility for the next person. Reach back, reach out for the next generation coming out of the military, or that next vet that's looking for a job, or that next vet that's looking for their benefits. That's what we're all here to do, is to help out.
And Danita will give you the final word on how important this is to you, to your ladies, to this community, actually just to us all.
I mean, this is why we do what we do. It really is. Like, if we're not doing this, we're not doing our jobs properly. So I think for us, this campaign means so much. It's the first of its kind. Nobody's ever done anything like this from our league perspective. So we get to be the first. And when we take that, and we talk about our overall campaign for the years, Lead the Charge, and combined with Spark the True You, we're trying to lead the charge in this and lead the charge in how you can effectively have change in your community.
So you want this first to match the first in the standings.
That's right.